PDP convention sparks fresh divisions amongst governors. Doctor strike enters day 16 as NARD demands better deal. Cholera outbreak hits 12 Sokoto local government areas. The UN calls for protection of climate migrants. Hello, welcome to the news update on Trust TV. My name is Hawa Gambo. Thank you for joining us. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party escalated on Saturday following the expulsion of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and 10 other senior party leaders over alleged anti-party activities. The decision was taken at the PDP's 20th National Convention held at the Lekan Salami Stadium in Ibadan. Those expelled include former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose, National Secretary Senator Samuel Anyawu, National Legal Advisor Kamaldeen Ajibade, Factional Chairman Mohammed Abdurrahman, Senator Mao Ohwabunwa, Abraham Ama, Judge Turner, Chief Dan Obi, and others. The motion for their expulsion was moved by former National Vice Chairman South Bode George and seconded by the Bauchi State PDP Chairman Samaila Burga before it was adopted by delegates. Delegates also unanimously confirmed Umaru Damagum as the substantive national chairman of the party. But the decision sparked immediate division among governors loyal to Damagum, with Adamawa State Governor Umar Fintiri, who chaired the organizing committee, and Plateau State Governor Caleb Muftuang distancing themselves from Wike's expulsion. The PDP has been plagued by months of internal conflict, with Wike aligned and Damagun-allied factions battling for control of the party. The tensions climaxed ahead of the convention following a court order move by former Jigawa Governor Silabla, who challenged his inability to purchase the national chairmanship nomination form. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde says this year's National Convention of the People's Democratic Party will mark a major turning point for the party. Speaking during his welcome address at the convention held at the Lekan Salami Sports Complex in Ibadan, Governor Makinde described the PDP members as resilient, noting that the party has endured a long and difficult journey to get to this moment. Makinde, as host of the Ibadan 2025 convention, expressed confidence that the gathering will set the PDP on a new path nationally.
His Excellency Wike.
The Coalition of Military Veterans in Nigeria has strongly condemned what it calls the public humiliation of a serving naval lieutenant by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The veterans described the conduct as an affront to the dignity of the Nigerian armed forces and an embarrassment to the authority of the Nigerian state. Here's the report.
Addressing in his conference in Kaduna, the military veteran said the minister's outburst did not only demean the uniform, but amounted to ridiculing an institution symbolizing national sovereignty.
Wike's action is a threat to the very foundation of this country that he enjoys today as a minister. As a matter of fact, Wike should apologize not only to the officer for using abusive language, but the entire armed forces, the president, and Nigerians.
The veterans warned that no democracy thrives when its armed forces are publicly embarrassed by political office holders, insisting that public officials are appointed to strengthen the image of government and not to undermine the morale of security personnel lawfully performing their duties.
Why should he, if it's cordial, haven't had that, the place, and seen it in paper, because all this document he has it, I have seen it, coming out physically as a minister of Federal Republic of Nigeria to a site of construction to use bulldozer, is that his responsibility?
Saying, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are requesting you to remove Nelson Wike as Minister of FCT. Even if you want to retain him as a minister, appoint him into another ministry and bring somebody else, because he's stepping on so many toes.
The veterans maintain that respect for the uniform is non-negotiable and essential to sustaining discipline within the armed forces. Bello Musa, Cross TV News, Kaduna.
The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has urged the federal government to immediately conclude the long-delayed collective bargaining agreement as its indefinite strike entered day 16 on Sunday. The association is also insisting on an urgent review of the Consolidated Medical Salary Structure, CONMES, which it described as outdated. In a statement posted on X on Saturday, NARD said doctors deserve a fair deal, stressing that its 19-point demand is both reasonable and vital for the welfare of doctors and patients. The nationwide strike, which began earlier this month, has disrupted services in 91 hospitals, including teaching hospitals, specialist institutions, and federal medical centers, leaving many patients stranded. Key demands include payment of CONMES arrears, release of the 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund, prompt payment of specialist allowances, recognition of postgraduate qualifications, and improved working conditions. The union said these measures are essential to keep doctors in the country and ensure the healthcare system functions effectively. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed the Ministry of Health to resolve the crisis without delay, assuring that government is addressing the concerns raised by the doctors. The Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU Bauchi Zone has threatened to embark on a first strike over the federal government's alleged failure to address long-standing demands. The zone, which comprises 6 universities, Federal University Kashere Gombe, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi, University of Jos Plateau, Bauchi State University, Plateau State University Bokos, and Gombe State University, issued the warning during a press conference in Jos on Saturday. Zonal coordinator of the union, Timothy Namo, said despite earlier warnings and a 2-week strike, the government had not taken any meaningful action. He noted that ASU had granted the government a 1-month window to conclude renegotiations, but only a week remained with nothing substantial achieved. Flanked by other zonal officials and branch chairmen, Namo accused some government officials of undermining the renegotiation process through subtle misrepresentation of offers presented to the union. He questioned the government's commitment to education, pointing out that despite increased revenue allocations to all tiers of government, investment in the sector remained poor. Namo urged stakeholders, including traditional rulers, students, civil society organizations, and National Assembly, to pressure the government into addressing ASU's demands to avert another shutdown of universities. Leaders of Tombo community in Benue State say the area has recorded at least 50 deaths in the last 10 months due to recurring violence. The leaders, Tiza Job and Joseph Sava, made the revelation over the weekend during a condolence visit by Senator Emmanuel Udonde, who represents Benue East Senatorial District. They lamented that Tombo, once a major food-producing hub in the state, has been crippled by persistent attacks, leaving residents in fear and farms abandoned. Despite the grim toll, the leaders expressed gratitude to Senator Udonde for previously providing relief materials after earlier assaults, praying for strength and capacity for him to even do more. Senator Udonde, who visited alongside political associates Abancha Senongo, Martins Agir, and Asawa Moses, said he was in Tambo to condole families grieving and reaffirmed his commitment to their safety. He urged residents to remain calm and patient as efforts to restore peace and security in the community intensify. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, has dismissed reports alleging that Christians are being targeted for extermination in Nigeria. Speaking on Saturday at the coronation of the 21st Elerin of Erin Ile Obajimo Adebowole Adosheyin Oyun local government area of Kwara State, Fagbemi said no religious group is under persecution in the country. He noted that violent attacks reported in different parts of the country cut across both religions and ethnic lines, emphasizing that states such as Zamfara and Sokoto, predominantly Muslim, have also suffered repeated killings and banditry. While acknowledging insecurity concerns, the AGF maintained that the federal government is winning the war against terrorism and intensifying efforts to curb killings, banditry, and other criminal activities nationwide. Fagbemi urged Nigerians to remain patient with President Bola Tinubu's administration, saying ongoing reforms are aimed at building a stronger foundation for national development. He commended the selection of the new Elerin, saying Oba Adesoye's wealth of experience will advance the growth of Erinle, and called on residents to support the monarch. Also speaking, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, represented by the Commissioner for Local Government of Chieftaincy Affairs, Ibrahim Bata, described traditional rulers as key partners in governance. Islamic groups and clerics across Katsina State have asked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to sack the newly appointed chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Ojo Amupitan, over allegations of religious and ethnic biases. They made the call across various mosques in Katsina this Friday. Abdullahi Ahmadi brings us more.
The chief imams referenced many instances where Judge Omopitan masterminded controversial issues relating to religious and ethnic sentiments. According to them, someone with that background is not fit to lead a national institution like INEC. The imams also linked the recent threat by America to invade Nigeria to one of the handiworks of Professor Judge Omopitan. They alleged that his ethnic and religious biases is capable of escalating religious tension in the country. These prominent Islamic leaders in Katsina are asking President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reverse the appointment of the INEC chairman to restore confidence in the nation's electoral process.
The sermon was all about the situation we are in this country, security or insecurity situation we are, and the appointment of the new INEC chairman, Professor J.O. Amopitan, who is one of the people that wrote to the American government and the United Nations and the ICC about the alleged genocide in Nigeria, which is unfounded, which his writings were all, or most of what he wrote was based on unfounded facts and twisted facts that he wrote about the alleged genocide in Nigeria. Whoever knows the slightest about the history of Nigeria knows that this country has encountered a lot of crises, a lot of misunderstandings between Muslims and Christians, between different ethnicities.
We Nigerians believe that we are all human beings, Muslim and Christians. Those people, if they attack Nigeria, so Nigeria is a country which involves Christians and Muslims and those who have no even religion. So that attack will affect everybody of us, every one of us. So we need peace.
And then we pass a message through the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that we are claiming or complaining, we the Muslim Ummah, about the new INEC chairman by name Joshua Ojo Amin Fetan. we are claiming and we are complaining that we are not expecting the sanity from the person, because we have sayings from, we have many questions about him, as our scholars saying and our writers are saying against him. And he have some manners that we are not to agree about of that habit.
The Imams vowed to continue to mobilize Nigerians to reject the appointment of George Omopitan as INEC chairman to ensure peace and political development of the country. Abdullahi Izuma Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
This is a news update on Trust TV, coming up after the break. Cholera outbreak hits 12 Sokoto local government areas. More news when we return. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is a news update on Trust TV. Now let's take a look at some of our top stories. PDP convention sparks fresh divisions among governors. And doctor strike enters day 16 as NERD demands better deal. Now moving to other stories. Boko Haram is known for stealing food and other essential items during attacks on defenseless communities near their hideouts in Nigeria's northeast. This persistent struggle for scarce resources, especially food, is placing a heavy burden on communities in the Minchika, Madagali and Hong Council areas of Adamawa State, leading to a high number of malnutrition cases among children aged 5 and below. In response, the Adamawa State government, in partnership with the Justice Development and Peace Initiative JDPI Maiduguri, has launched a program to train women in preparing nutritious foods, including a local dish known as Tom Brown, to help combat undernutrition. Trust TV's Gibson Soadigo brings in the report.
Recently, insurgents attacked several communities in Adamawa State, stealing food and valuables, an ongoing challenge that continues to worsen malnutrition among children. These repeated incidents have raised serious concerns for the Adamawa State government, JDPI, and their partners. Beyond security measures and humanitarian support, the government and JDPI Maiduguri have organized training sessions for local women, empowering them with skills to address undernutrition and promote self-reliance.
They are really here and they have been doing a lot in order to see malnutrition has been eradicated in our community, in the state and beyond.
Last year, we were able to conduct a nutrition smart survey, which was immensely supported by the nutrition subsector. They provided us with technical support, some materials for data collection, and validated that particular survey that we conducted.
Malnutrition remains a major humanitarian and public health challenge in Adamawa State. According to UNICEF, around 400,000 children require treatment for malnutrition, and nearly half of all children suffer from chronic malnutrition. Communities frequently targeted by incidents experience the most severe effects as the competition for limited food resources intensifies.
The influx of people from these communities that are disturbed, in code, it's bringing a lot of pressure to the scarce resources in these communities. So yes, the activities of the insurgents has indeed increased the burden in these communities that we're intervening.
Women trained in the program proudly showcase the nutritious products they have created, expressing confidence that these foods will help tackle poor infant feeding practices and improve child health.
JDPI train us, we train another woman how to make Tom Brown, because we have malnutrition in our community.
And before, our children, they are fell sick, but now we are okay through Tom Brown. There are no any malnutrition again.
High levels of poverty, food insecurity, conflict-related disruptions and inadequate infant feeding practices remain the key drivers of malnutrition crisis. Gibson So Adugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
The Sokoto state government has activated an emergency response following a cholera outbreak reported in 12 local government areas of the state. Health officials say the incident, first detected earlier in the week, triggered the rapid deployment of medical personnel and supplies to affected communities. A senior official of the State Ministry of Health, Biliaminu Sifawa, confirmed that health workers were mobilized to primary health centers within 24 hours of receiving the alert. The head of UNICEF's Sokoto field office, Michael Juma, said the agency is supporting the intervention across all 12 affected local government areas, including Binji, Dange Shuni, Gada, Goronyo, Gwadabawa, Kebbe, Kwari, Silame, Sokoto North, Sokoto South, Tureta, and Wambako. UNICEF has delivered cholera kits, wash dignity kits, aqua tabs, chlorine drums, and other essential supplies. Sokoto and many states in the northwest continue battling recurring cholera outbreaks linked to unsafe water sources and poor sanitation. Health officials say surveillance and case management efforts are ongoing across all communities. Now in the business scene, Nigeria's imports of crude oil from the United States more than doubled in the first 8 months of 2025, rising by 101% according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Between February and August, Nigeria imported 31.69 million barrels, up from 15.79 million barrels in the same period in 2024. The sharp rise reflects supply pressures and efforts to stabilize domestic fuel production amid inconsistent local crude supply. Imports spiked dramatically in June, reaching 9.16 million barrels, a 782% increase from the same month last year. Other months also show significant gains, signaling a steady ramp-up in crude intake, particularly for the Dangote refinery, which favors U.S. light sweet crude for complex refining processes. Despite being Africa's largest oil producer, Nigeria continues to rely on foreign barrels while exporting much of its crude. Local refineries received only about 45% of their requested allocations, highlighting challenges in domestic supply. The surge underscores the ongoing structural shift in Nigeria's crude import profile as refineries struggle to balance domestic production, refinery capacity, and global market dynamics. Away from Nigeria, at COP30 in Belém, Brazil, the International Organization for Migration is urging world leaders to protect the rights and dignity of climate migrants, displaced persons, and vulnerable communities. Floods, droughts, heat waves, and storms are forcing millions from their homes each year. Most remain internally displaced, yet are uprooted just the same. Experts warn that rising seas and extreme conditions could render entire nations inhabitable in the near future. IOM's Deputy Director General Ugochi Daniel says early warning signs, resilient services, and livelihood support are critical to help communities stay in their homes or recover when displaced. She stressed that many affected simply want to return home and rebuild their lives, highlighting the importance of integrating human mobility into national adaptation plans. Daniels expressed hope that COP30 will be a turning point for climate policies and financing for loss and damage, placing human mobility at the center of global negotiations. And in sports, Super Eagles Vice Captain William Trust Ekong says Nigeria faces a tough challenge in Sunday's World Cup playoff against Democratic Republic of Congo. Speaking ahead of the match in Rabat, Ekong expressed confidence in the team's readiness but warned that Congo will be a strong opponent. Reflecting on their semi-final win over Gabon, he noted that every game represents unique challenges, emphasizing the team's focus on securing victory. The winner of Sunday's clash will book a ticket to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And with that, we round up the news update. Do not forget to follow us across all media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for a constant live stream of programs and documentaries. My name is Hawa Gambo, saying thank you for joining us and see you soon.